Well, good morning and welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. Good morning, Tina. Good to see you already logged on this morning. You can find a different command of Jesus at our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church and some other helpful resources there to just help us read the Bible together and to encourage one another. These Jesus Saids are soundbite versions of the examples, teachings, and commands of Jesus, just to help us do what he said to do, which was to obey his commands. Today's Jesus Said comes from John 13, verse 34 through 35. And the soundbite of that is Jesus said, "Love each other." Verse 34 of John 13, "I give you a new commandment," Jesus said, "to love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. Everyone will know by this that you are my disciples if you have love for one another." Good morning, Susie. Thank you for checking in. Now, the context here, the command to love one another is repeated multiple times in the New Testament, at least 16 times that I've found. And it seems so simple. I mean, we really should just be able to say, love each other, and go from there. But Jesus also said, by this, everyone will know that you are my disciples. The evidence of who we are in Christ is actually revealed by our love for each other. And that love isn't some kind of la-la land emotion. Jesus said, I give you a commandment to love one another just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. How did Jesus love? Well, we look at the example of Jesus with one of his disciples, Judas, who was not a good guy. I mean, he was a thief, and he ended up betraying Jesus. And the Bible literally says that Satan filled his heart. And how did Jesus love Judas? Well, Judas participated in the Lord's Supper. Jesus broke the bread and gave it also to Judas. He gave Judas the cup as well. He washed Judas' feet. Think about Simon Peter. Simon Peter denied Jesus, ran away from him, was always running his mouth off. And Jesus loved him. And God actually chose Simon Peter to be the spokesperson on the day of Pentecost. Look at Thomas, doubting Thomas, who Jesus loved anyway. How did Jesus love? That's how he tells us that we need to love one another. And he said, by that kind of love, that others would know that we are truly disciples. Good morning, Malcolm. Thank you for checking in. By this will everyone know that you're my disciples. Now, you would think, seeing how Christians act today, especially in the Western world here in America, you would think that Jesus commanded that people would know that we are his disciples by our condemnation of each other, by dividing into groups of different beliefs and doctrines and saying that everyone else is wrong, or by calling our enemies names and pointing out how stupid everyone else is. In fact, I saw a video from a popular preacher, which I won't name, who literally said that people who wear masks are not welcome in their church. Do we wonder why the world thinks that we don't have anything to offer? Think about this. If we aren't known by our love for each other, how can those outside of our circle think that we could possibly love them? Jesus predicted that in the end times, in fact, in Matthew 24, verse 10, he said, then many will be led into sin and they will betray one another and hate one another. Does that sound familiar? And he said, many false prophets will appear and deceive many. And because lawlessness will increase so much, the love of many will grow cold. And Jesus said the one who endures to the end will be saved, and that this message of the kingdom will be preached all over the world, throughout the entire inhabited earth, as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Well, what is that testimony to everyone? Love one for another. You see, we can't claim to have the good news about the kingdom if we don't even show the most basic examples that Jesus gave us as proof we are his disciples. Love each other. Love each other as Jesus loved us. That's what the world needs to see. That's the real proof that we are Jesus followers and his disciples. Jesus said, love each other. How can we put that into action today?